I never imagined I'd end up as one of those people posting a long, chaotic breakup story on Reddit. I used to read stuff like this and think, yikes, couldn't be me. But, here I am. This isn't some throwaway account either, I'm past the point of caring. And yeah, some of you are probably going to think I've lost it or that I'm being overly dramatic. But I swear, I'm not making any of this up. If anything, I'm trying to dial it back. My hands are still shaking, and it's been a few days. Sorry if this gets long-winded. I'm typing this out on my phone at my sister's kitchen table because, honestly, I can't stomach being in my own apartment right now. I'm not going to start at the very beginning of our relationship because, frankly, it was pretty uneventful, normal, even boring. You don't need the cheesy meet cute. It doesn't matter. Let me just take you back to last month, that's when things started to feel off. And yeah, I get it, off sounds vague, but I mean it. Landon began acting like I was some extra in the background of his life instead of, his girlfriend. He'd sit there glued to his phone, not even scrolling TikTok, but reading these random forums about watches and sneakers, totally checked out. I'd ask him something simple like, hey, want to grab ramen, and he'd barely lift his eyes before muttering, I'm not really hungry. Let's just chill here. Then, later, I'd catch him coming back with takeout like he hadn't just told me he wasn't hungry. Cheating didn't even cross my mind at first. I figured maybe he was burnt out or struggling mentally. But then, a couple of weeks ago, he started making these little comments. They weren't loud or obvious, but when you live with someone, you pick up on every little shift. Stuff like, Alyssa, you never let things go, or can we not do this right now? I just want to relax. Then the one that really stuck, sometimes I feel like I can't breathe. But then, at night, he'd still want to cuddle. Or he'd wrap his arms around me from behind while I was making coffee in the morning. So I thought, okay, he's just stressed out. I'll give him space. Looking back, I should have noticed when he stopped wanting to come to dinner at my parents' place. One time, my mom called him out for not helping set the table, and he pouted through the whole evening. After that, he always had some excuse whenever we had family plans. Said he needed time to recharge or whatever. My sister Jasmine thought he was being ridiculous, but I kept making excuses for him like a fool. He's just tired, I'd say. He doesn't do well in social settings. That kind of thing. Fast forward to last Friday, Naomi, my best friend, dragged me to the ceramics class. She's in a group chat with me and Jasmine, and you'll hear more about her in a bit. We were only out for maybe 4 hours, covered in clay, laughing and being a mess. I got home around 11, feeling gross but happy, ready to shower and eat junk food. I walk in and Landon's just sitting on the couch in the dark, the glow from his phone lighting up his face. I say, hey, and he looks up and goes, can we talk? And right then, I knew. Everyone knows that tone. It's never good. I plopped down next to him, still in my stained sweats, and he lets out this deep sigh, like he's about to do something painful. He says, I don't mean to sound harsh, but I feel like you're draining me. I actually laughed because I thought he was kidding. Who talks like that outside of some self-help YouTube channel? But he was dead serious. He kept going. Said he needed a break from everything. That he had to feel free again. That he needed space. Asked me not to text or call him for a while so he could clear his head. Then he stood up, grabbed his duffel bag, which, by the way, was already packed, and walked out the door. No hug, no eye contact, not even a goodbye. Just the sound of the door slamming behind him. I just sat there for a few minutes, staring into space. I was sure he'd text 20 minutes later with, sorry, I overreacted. I'll be home soon. But nothing came. So I showered. Ate a bowl of cereal. Called Jasmine, who absolutely lost it. She called him a man-child and said I should have dumped him first. But I just felt hollow. Numb. I still half expected him to sneak back in and crawl into bed like he always did after an argument. But the bed stayed cold. Saturday morning, I woke up to 7 missed calls from Naomi. Which was strange, she never calls, always just texts. When I finally picked up, she said, Alyssa, have you looked at Landon's Instagram story? I told her no. I was trying to be the bigger person, giving him space like an idiot. She sends me screenshots, and I swear to God, I felt like I was losing my mind. First picture, a fancy hotel room view, city skyline, the works. Second, a restaurant table I'd never seen before, with 2 glasses of wine, a giant steak, and some fancy little dessert. Then there's this boomerang, someone's hand, wearing a chunky bracelet, clinking glasses with him. And it's not mine. Not Jasmine's. Not Naomi's. Definitely not his mom's either. I scroll back through my own photos just to make sure I'm not imagining things. And I know that bracelet. It's Camille's. His ex from about 4 years ago. She was obsessed with big, flashy jewelry. Wore it all the time. I remember because she used to pop up in his old Instagram stories when we first got together, and I used to feel super insecure about it. Then came the gut punch, a shot of the hotel nightstand with her perfume bottle sitting on it. That weird-shaped one that looks like a tiny crystal. She was always posting about it back when she was trying to be an influencer. I hated that perfume. Smelled like cheap cotton candy. And in the background of that clip, you can hear a soft little laugh. Not loud, but I recognized it instantly. It was hers. Last I heard, she was married. Guess that didn't stop her. I text Landon. I absolutely lose it. Asked him if he was really pathetic enough to go crawling back to his ex. Told him, so this is what freedom looks like to you? He didn't reply for hours, just left me on read. And when he finally did respond, he sent this smug, condescending paragraph basically saying, don't embarrass yourself. I told you I needed space. I'm just catching up with an old friend. Like I'm some kind of idiot who doesn't see what's going on. And he knows I know. The audacity of this man. I called Jasmine, still shaking and full of rage. She told me, do not let him spin this. Don't get into it with Camille either, she's not worth it. But don't let Landon paint you as the crazy one. I asked her, straight up, am I being irrational here? And she said, no. This is textbook deflection. He's flipping it back on you because he knows damn well he's in the wrong. And yeah, Jasmine's always been brutally honest. But I needed that. Later that day, I got a DM from Eli, Landon's friend, though he's never liked drama. He asked if I was okay. Said he saw Landon at a hotel bar the night before, looking like some smug little kid who just got away with stealing candy. I asked him if he saw who Landon was with, and all Eli said was, I didn't want to get in the middle of it, but Alyssa, it's not a good look. I get why you're upset. People say no one wants to take sides, but let's be real, it still cuts deep when they don't. And yeah, maybe I sound like I'm spiraling, but I've got the receipts. I know some folks might say, oh, maybe it was nothing, or maybe they're just catching up as friends. But come on. Nobody casually checks into a 5-star hotel with their married ex and posts it on Instagram unless they want people to see. I know Camille. I know Landon. They both feed off attention like it's oxygen. Camille has always been obsessed with being the one that got away. She used to brag about it like it was a personality trait. And Landon? He's constantly chasing something. If life's too stable, he gets restless. He's literally told me before that he feels like he was meant for something more. Whatever the hell that means. Honestly, I think he gets off on the drama. Saturday night rolls around and nothing. Not a word from him. Then I get a text from my mom asking if Landon's coming to dinner on Sunday. All I reply is, no. He needs space. She calls immediately, like any mom would, checking if I'm okay. I tell her I'm fine, just tired. She offers to come over, but I tell her not to. I needed time to think, to figure out what the hell I was even feeling. She says, Alyssa, you don't have to put up with being treated like that. And I know she's right, but hearing it and accepting it are two different things. By the time Sunday morning hits, I'm not even sad anymore. I'm furious. I didn't want him back, I just wanted him to know he couldn't walk all over me and then go play the poor lost boy routine on social media like he's the victim. So I cleaned the apartment, gathered all of his crap, and set it by the front door. I didn't throw it out or anything, I just wanted to send a clear message that he wasn't welcome anymore. I sent him a message, your stuff's here. Come pick it up. He left me on read, again. So I threw it all in a trash bag and left it by the door. When he finally showed up that evening, he couldn't even look me in the face. He just grabbed the bag and muttered, you're being dramatic. And I fired back, and you're being a coward. He said something under his breath as he reached for his headphones on the table, and when I pushed his arm away, he snapped, don't touch me. I looked him dead in the eye and said, then leave. And yeah, maybe some people will say I should have tried to be the bigger person, or had a calm talk with him or whatever, but I'm done doing that. I don't owe him patience or kindness when he's been treating me like some fallback option. If I'm such a drain on him, he can go recharge somewhere else. Now I'm stuck with the emotional rubble. Jasmine's letting me crash at her place for a bit, and Naomi's been doing her best to cheer me up with dumb memes and trashy reality TV. But honestly? This isn't even the wild part. Not by a long shot. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do next, but I know one thing, I'm not going to let him walk away like nothing happened. I've got something in mind. If Landon wants drama, I can give him drama. And if you've read this far? Congrats. You've got more patience than I do right now. I'll post an update if anything changes. But something tells me this mess is far from over. First update. It's been a week since I wrote all that. I'm still at Jasmine's, crashing on her weird fold-out couch, and honestly, I think her cat likes me more than he likes her now. I can't even bring myself to go back to my apartment. Every time I think about it, I picture those dumb coffee mugs or find another one of Landon's random socks hiding somewhere, and I just get pissed all over again. Also, side note, why do men own 1,000 socks? Is that a thing? Is it some weird guy hoarding instinct? Anyway. The thing that's been eating at me isn't even that he left. It's how he made me feel like I was imagining things. Like I was crazy for noticing all the signs. He sat me down in my own living room, told me I was draining and needed to work on my jealousy, and not even 48 hours later, he's out at some fancy hotel with Camille. Who, again, is married. And somehow I'm the unstable one? I know how that probably sounds, like maybe I'm just overthinking it. But I'm not. I know what I saw. I know what I heard in the background of those posts. It's the little moments that really hit. Like the other day, I opened Jasmine's fridge and didn't have to mentally calculate how many eggs to leave for Landon. I didn't have to wonder if there was enough oat milk for his dumb smoothie obsession. I reached for my charger at night and realized I didn't have to hide it from someone who steals it every single evening and never puts it back. It's not the big blow-up that makes it real, it's stuff like that. Anyway, about him. After he picked up his junk, well, some of it, he left behind his old hoodie, some random wires, and his stupid coffee grinder. And I haven't heard a word from him since. But I've seen his Instagram. Oh, he's been busy. More stories, another luxury hotel, this one with a rooftop pool. Another fancy dinner, 2 plates again. One with some seafood dish he always claimed he hated. And then a short clip of a hand with long red nails clinking glasses with him. And yes, I checked, Camille's nails were always that exact red. I even looked through her old posts to make sure. Call me crazy, whatever, I've got time on my hands now. So I vented to Naomi, because she's my rock, my reality check. And she told me straight up, Alyssa, you know you're not losing your mind. Men love gaslighting, if it were an Olympic event, they'd sweep the podium. Even she asked, are you sure it's Camille? Could be someone else? And I don't blame her for questioning it. I've been questioning myself too. Then she said, want me to keep an eye on his stories? Screenshot anything sketchy? I didn't even hesitate, yes. Please. And that's how I ended up with a neat little folder of screenshots. Hotel views. Her bracelet. The perfume bottle. The red nails. The wine glasses. The laughter in the background. All public. All intentional. I started thinking, maybe he's doing it on purpose. Maybe he wants me to see it. Or maybe he's just trying to show off for Camille. And it hit me, why is she even in town? I remembered she moved out of state after getting married. So yeah. I did some light stalking. Don't judge. We've all been there. Her husband, Derek? Still posting smiling beach selfies. Still tagging her like everything's great. The man looks like he doesn't have a clue. That's when the anger really kicked in. If this was just Landon being a dumbass, whatever. But Camille? She's always thrived on chaos. Back when Landon and I first started dating, she'd leave little flirty comments under his posts, just enough to be noticed, but not enough to call out without looking crazy. I let it slide back then. Not anymore. Now? I want proof. Not just for me, for Derek. Yeah, it's petty. But I don't care anymore. If my relationship is going up in flames, I'm not going to be the only one getting burned. I'm not proud of it, but I'm done being the cool, understanding girlfriend. If Camille wants to play dirty, I can go lower. Here's the problem, I don't actually know Derek. I think I met him once at some group hangout, and he seemed decent enough, just real quiet. Definitely not the kind of guy who gets caught up in messy drama. So I call Naomi again. She answers and goes, are you sure about this? And I tell her yeah, I'm sure. I just need a way to contact him. She hesitates, says maybe I should let it go. But I tell her I can't. I need to do something, anything, to stop feeling so powerless. Eventually, she gets it and says she'll try to ask around. Not long after that, I get a DM from Eli, Landon's friend who hates drama but somehow always finds himself knee-deep in it. He says he saw Landon again at that same hotel, and this time, Camille was with him, no pretending, no ambiguity. They were all over each other. He goes, sorry if that stings, but I figured you should know. I thank him, though truthfully, I already suspected. Then he says, you should reach out to Derek. I tell him I'm trying, but it's not like I've got the guy's number just lying around. So Eli says, I can give you his email, but don't say it came from me. I promised I wouldn't. So I sit down at Jasmine's kitchen table, pull out my laptop, and try to write something to Derek. It takes me 5 drafts just to get it right. I didn't want to sound unhinged, but I needed him to take it seriously. I attached a few screenshots and wrote something simple. I'm sorry to drop this on you, but I think you deserve the truth. I'm not trying to cause a scene, I just think you should know. My hands were shaking when I hit send. But I sent it anyway. For the next 2 days, silence. And then Landon posts one of those classic passive-aggressive stories, black background, white text, snakes everywhere. Trust no one. I couldn't help but laugh. It was obviously about me, and the irony of it all nearly made me choke. Jasmine just rolled her eyes and said, he's mad because you're not crawling back to him. Naomi added, he always loved playing the victim. And me? I told them, he can keep playing. I'm not clapping anymore. Then finally, Derek responds. The email is short. Just, are you sure? How do you know it's her? I don't blame him. He doesn't want to believe it. So I sent more screenshots, old pics from Camille's profile with the same bracelet, same nail polish, that perfume bottle again. I wrote, I'm really sorry, but I wouldn't lie about this. No reply after that. But the next day, I see Derek's Instagram goes private. Camille's too. Jasmine says, she's hiding. Naomi says, maybe he confronted her. Honestly? I didn't care at that point. I did what I had to do. And then, out of nowhere, Landon calls me. Not a text, a call. I ignore the first ring. He calls again. I pick up on the third one, mostly just to shut him up. Before I can even say hello, he starts in, what the hell are you doing, Alyssa? Trying to ruin my life? I tell him, I'm just making sure the truth is out there. He goes, you didn't have to drag Derek into this. You're being petty and vindictive and crazy. And I snap back, you're the one who made this mess, not me. He hits me with, you're obsessed. You need help. I laugh. I tell him, maybe worry about your own life before criticizing mine. Then I hang up. Weirdly, I felt calm afterward. Like, I thought I'd feel guilty. But I didn't. Jasmine said, you did what needed to be done. Naomi added, he's projecting. And then Eli texted me again, said Landon was freaking out, saying I'd ruined everything. I just texted back, good. But it didn't end there. Nope. Camille DMs me. She sends me this long, dramatic wall of text, starts in all caps, how dare you. Then a whole lot of, this was none of your business, and, you're just jealous because Landon chose me. I didn't even get mad. I laughed. I replied, I'm not jealous. I just don't like being lied to. She left me on read. Later that day, I head back to my apartment to grab a few things and, there he is. Landon. Just standing outside my door with his hands in his pockets, looking like a wet dog. I ask, what do you want? He says, I just want to talk. So I say, then talk. He starts in with, I didn't mean for it to go this far. I say, you mean getting caught? He says, you shouldn't have involved Derek. I shoot back, maybe you should have thought of that before sneaking off to a hotel with your married ex. He says, you're blowing this up. And I say, no. You blew it up. I'm just making sure it's fair. He tries to move closer. I block him with my arm. Don't touch me. He backs off. That's when he starts losing it. Says it's all my fault. Says I never listened, that I made him feel trapped, that Camille gets him in a way I never did. I tell him, then go be with her. And leave me alone. He goes, it's not that simple. I say, it is for me. He accuses me of being cold. I say, no. I'm being honest. Then I tell him to get out of here. He slaps the wall hard, like a child throwing a tantrum, and storms off. Jasmine later says, you're a legend. I just say, I'm tired. I want this all to be over. That night, Naomi comes by with snacks and a bottle of wine. We binge the dumbest reality show she could find, and at some point, she makes me promise not to text Landon. Not even once. I promise. She tells me, you're stronger than you think. And I say, I just want to move on. Later, my mom calls. She's worried. Asks if I need her to come stay with me. I tell her no, I've got Jasmine and Naomi. I'll be okay. She says, Alyssa, you're allowed to be angry. And I say, I know. That night, I fall asleep on the couch and wake up to a dozen missed calls from Landon. I don't answer. The next day, Eli texts me again. Says Landon's been telling people I'm manipulative and unstable. I reply, let him talk. The people who actually matter know the truth. Later that week, I get one final email from Derek. Just says, thank you. I appreciate it. And that's it. So yeah, I'm not sure what comes next. But I do know I'm not backing down. If Landon wants to play games, I'll play harder. I'm done letting him rewrite this story and make me the villain. I bent over backwards trying to be the reasonable one. That chapter's closed. If anyone out there thinks I went too far, maybe I did. But honestly, I'd do it again. You can only play the bigger person for so long before you realize sometimes you've got to get a little petty just to survive. If anything else happens, I'll update. Second update. Yup, I'm back. Because apparently, this whole saga refuses to just end. If you're just tuning in, quick summary, Landon dumped me with a speech about how I was draining him and how he needed freedom, then promptly ran off to expensive hotels with his married ex, Camille. When I called him out, he painted me as the jealous one. So I pulled together evidence, sent it to Camille's husband Derek, and now, well, it's like I dropped a grenade into their little fantasy. And yeah, it blew up everything, including my own peace. But no, I'm not sorry. 3 days after that email to Derek, things really started getting interesting. I was back at Jasmine's, and her cat had officially taken over my suitcase like it was his personal throne. I was just doing my usual mindless scrolling, chewing on some sad leftover pizza, not really thinking. Jasmine was trying to convince me to get outside and take a walk, but I was glued to my phone, eyes bouncing between group chats. Mostly because Naomi was giving me a live play-by-play of all the social media chaos unfolding. She said Camille had gone completely silent on her main account, but her old one? Still alive and kicking, posting dramatic, passive-aggressive quotes about betrayal, snakes, and fake friends. Real throwback energy. Very 2018 Tumblr core, not gonna lie. Then, out of nowhere, Naomi asks, do you think Derek actually did anything? I said, I don't know. Maybe he's just processing it all. She goes, men don't move until they have concrete evidence. They always want to believe the best. I told her, I gave him everything I had. That's all I could do. I tried to tell myself it wasn't my concern anymore, but I kept thinking about it. What if Derek just ignored everything? What if nothing changed? What if I started this whole mess for absolutely nothing? Later that night, Eli texts me, no meme, no joke, no cat pic. Just, figured you should know, Landon's been locked out of the hotel. He's crashing at my place. I stared at the screen for a few seconds, totally blank. Finally, I just typed back, why is he with you? Eli replies, Derek showed up at the hotel. It blew up. Big scene. Security got involved. He added, I wasn't there for it all, but I've heard enough. Landon's blaming you for everything, but honestly, you did what you had to do. I sent back, not my circus, not my monkeys. Jasmine overheard from the kitchen. Told you this was gonna get messy, she said. Messier than this? I replied. She laughed. You know he's gonna try to flip the script. Let him try, I said. Next morning, I wake up to a buzzing phone. Missed calls from an unknown number, 5 of them. Definitely Landon, since I blocked him after our last screaming match. He left 2 voicemails and sent a flood of DMs through mutual friends, old acquaintances, even people I haven't heard from in years. Apparently, the story had broken wide open. Not just what I did, but the whole saga, it was now top-tier group chat drama. Someone from Camille's old friend circle even DM'd me, why'd you have to ruin her marriage? I blocked and deleted. I don't owe anyone an explanation. I listened to one of the voicemails. Landon was all over the place, started off furious, accusing me of sabotage, then flipped into a whining mess about how I always do this, then just, silence, and he hung up. In the background, I swear I could hear Eli telling him to calm down. I deleted it. I didn't have the energy. Later that afternoon, I went back to my place to grab some essentials. Jasmine's been a saint, but I needed my own clothes, my own bed, and, let's be honest, my espresso machine. The building felt weirdly quiet. It was kind of nice. I was halfway through stuffing a bag when someone knocked. I checked the peephole. Landon. I almost walked away, but then he knocked again, harder this time. I cracked the door. What do you want? I asked. He says, let me in. I just want to talk. I shot that down immediately. Not happening. He tried to push the door. I held my ground. Stop acting like a child, he snapped. I just need my charger. You already took it. No, the black one. I sighed, grabbed the black charger from the drawer, and tossed it into the hall. He stared at me, ice cold. You really had to do this, Alyssa? I raised an eyebrow. Do what? Ruin everything. Like you always do. You did that all by yourself, I said. Don't pin it on me. He stepped closer, so I stepped out and closed the door behind me. He raised his voice. You're not getting away with this. I stared him down. You're not going to intimidate me. So save your breath. Then he threw this at me. You think you're so high and mighty, but you're just bitter that Camille picked me. I laughed in his face. She picked you? Looks like nobody picked anybody. He got up in my face, so I shoved him, hard. He stumbled back, cursed, and stormed down the hall. I slammed the door behind me and called Jasmine, filled her in. She was livid. If he pulls something like that again, call me. I'll be there. I can handle it, I told her. I know. But I'm serious, don't let him get you cornered. I won't, I promised. Later that night, Naomi came over with takeout, and we crashed on the couch watching the dumbest TV we could find. She told me people at her gym were whispering about the hotel scandal, and she was just pretending to know nothing. Honestly, I said, it's kind of nice that people are finally talking about him for once, not just me. She said, you know he's gonna try and twist all this, right? Let him. You're colder than I thought, she said. I'm just exhausted, I replied. 2 more days pass. I get a message from Camille, no rant this time, just a snippy, hope you're happy. I didn't answer. Then I got another email from Derek. Just, thanks again. I replied, I'm sorry it had to come from me. He didn't respond. Then Eli checked in. Said Landon wasn't doing great. Barely sleeping. Drinking too much. Lashing out at everyone. Refusing to take any responsibility. What do you want me to do about that? I asked. Nothing, he said. Just figured you should know. Then he added, I never liked how he talked about you, to be honest. Well, thanks for saying it now. Yeah. I should have said it sooner. It's fine, I said. And it kind of was. Then the wildest thing, I'm at the grocery store, just trying to buy oat milk and frozen waffles, and I run straight into Camille. Dead serious, she's there in sunglasses, looking like she just stepped out of a fashion shoot, but with bags under her eyes like she hadn't slept in days. I thought about ducking into another aisle, but she saw me. Walked right up. You did this on purpose, didn't you? I shrugged. Maybe I did. She snapped, you're just jealous. We had something you never understood. I said, well, you don't seem to have it now, do you? She slapped my arm, not hard, but enough to make a loud smack. Everyone in the aisle turned. I just stared at her. She mumbled something under her breath and walked off. I texted Jasmine right away, guess who I just ran into? She replied, you've got all the luck. That night, Landon tried calling again. I ignored it. Then came the texts, long, bitter messages about how I ruined his life, how he can't show his face in public, how I'll never understand what it's like to be hated by everyone. I texted back, you did this to yourself. Not me. He called again. Left another voicemail, just heavy breathing, then a hang up. I blocked him. Again. Even Naomi asked, do you ever regret it? I said, no. Not even a little? Maybe I wish it hadn't gone so public. But I'm glad Camille finally got what she deserved. She gave me this look. You're savage. You have no idea, I said. The next day, Jasmine and I boxed up the last of Landon's stuff, old hoodies, broken chargers, that stupid grinder, and left it in the building's lobby with a note. Come get it or it's going in the trash. He texted her back, you're both insane. Jasmine texts him back, try us. He never shows. She turns to me and goes, you need to change your locks. I tell her, already on it. I call the super, pay the ridiculous fee, and get a fresh set of keys made. That night, for the first time in a while, I sleep straight through. So yeah, this is where things stand. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm healing or moving forward or whatever feel-good phrase you're supposed to slap on a disaster. I'm just trying to rebuild my life, minus the drama, minus him. But I'd be lying if I said I believed this was over. Because if there's one thing I know about Landon, it's that he never lets go. And truthfully? Neither do I. If he does anything else, I'll be back. But for now, all I want is just one quiet week. No voicemails. No confrontations. No explaining myself to random strangers. But let's be real, I'm not betting on it. Last update. Okay, so I guess this is the last one. Unless Landon finds a whole new way to humiliate himself, which, let's be honest, seems unlikely at this point. I think even he's out of material. Funny thing is, I started this thread just trying to vent, maybe crowdsource some advice. I figured I'd shout into the void and move on. But reading your comments? They helped more than any pep talk my friends ever gave me. So thank you, to everyone who made me feel like I wasn't crazy. Or if I was, at least I had good company. Anyway, here's how it all wrapped up. Buckle in, because, of course, it got messy before it got quiet. The strangest part? The silence. Like, actual silence. After that ridiculous slap in the grocery store moment with Camille, yes, that happened, and no, I didn't slap her back, I got 5 whole days of peace. Not a single rant. No calls. No cryptic IG quotes. Just, nothing. For a second, I thought it might finally be done. That maybe I could slide back into my boring routine of podcasts and meal prepping without looking over my shoulder. Then I got a voicemail notification, from a number I didn't recognize. Ignored it. Then another one came in. By the end of the day, I had 5. I caved and listened to one, thinking maybe it was a scam. But no, it was Landon. And he sounded different. Not mad. Not calm. Just desperate. He said, "Can we talk?" He said, "I'm sorry." He said, "I screwed up." His voice kept cracking. Sounded like he might have been crying, or maybe hungover. Could have been both. I didn't respond. That's when he started messaging Jasmine, new low. She sent me the screenshots. He was begging, "I need to talk to Alyssa. Just 5 minutes. Please." She replied, "You had your 5 minutes. You blew it." Then he tried guilt. "You're her sister. How can you be this cold?" She just hit him with a thumbs up. Meanwhile, I tried to get back to normal. Moved back into my apartment. If I can give Landon 1 ounce of credit, it's this: he didn't trash the place or leave anything awful behind. Just the usual, half a drawer full of socks and 1 mug I always hated. I cleaned top to bottom. Washed the sheets. Tossed his oat milk. Never again. The place felt a little empty, but also, lighter. I got myself a pizza, threw on a podcast, and sat right there on the floor, like I was taking my home back inch by inch. Then the emails started. Yes, emails. Who even uses those for emotional damage? Each one had a pitiful subject line like "please" or "can we talk" or "I'm sorry." I didn't reply. One was practically a novel. Said he wasn't thinking straight. That he just wanted to feel alive again. That he never stopped loving me. That Camille ghosted him after Derek found out. Said he deserved another shot. I scrolled through it, sighed, and deleted it. Jasmine said, "He's just lonely. Everyone's dumped him." Naomi rolled her eyes and said, "He's trying every trick in the book: guilt, nostalgia, fake self-awareness." Eli messaged too, "Landon's telling people you destroyed his life. But honestly, no one's buying it anymore." I replied, "What else is new?" He said, "If he shows up again, call me." I told him, "Don't worry. I will." Then came the next stunt. It was a Tuesday, middle of the afternoon. I was working at the kitchen table when I heard a knock. I checked the peephole. Of course, it was Landon. I thought about ignoring him, but he knocked again, then sent a text. "I'm outside. Just 5 minutes. Please." I cracked the door. "What do you want?" He looked wrecked. Red eyes. Defeated. "I just need to talk." Then talk. He launched into it again. "I know I messed up. I lost everything. Not my problem," I told him. "You were the only one who really cared about me. I miss you. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I just want one more chance. You had plenty, first, second, third. You wasted them." "I was stupid," he said, trying to step closer. I put my hand on the door. "Stay on your side." He begged. "Please. I'm begging you." I stared at him. "Stop begging. It's pathetic." He reached for my arm. I slapped his hand away. He cursed, looked like he was about to cry, then just stood there in silence. "You need to go," I said. "I don't have anywhere to go," he mumbled. "Not my responsibility." He muttered something about how I ruined his life. I told him, "Welcome to the club." And I shut the door. I texted Jasmine, "He came again." She replied, "Want me to swing by?" "No, I'm good." "Well, if he tries again, let me know." "Will do." After that, it was just constant background noise, 2 a.m. voicemails, weird texts from random numbers, even a Facebook friend request. All the same messages. I miss you. I'm sorry. I'll do anything. Block. 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 Eli checked in again, said Landon had burned all his bridges. Nobody wanted to deal with the drama anymore. A few people were annoyed that I'd aired the dirty laundry, but most were just tired of Landon acting like a walking pity parade. Naomi said, he's on repeat. Eventually, he'll get bored and move on to some new poor soul. I said, he's not getting a chance to make me the villain again. One night over dinner, Jasmine asked, do you ever think about forgiving him? Not even a little. Not even for closure? Closure's a scam, I told her. She laughed. You're colder than I remember. I shrugged. I think I'm just done. The final time he tried anything, he came back to my building. I didn't open the door. He stood out there for about 25 minutes, then left. Later, I found a note slipped under the door. I'm sorry. I hope you find someone better. I tossed it in the trash. Out of the blue, I got a message from Derek. Simple. Hope you're doing better. I replied, yeah. Thanks. That was it. I didn't ask how things ended with Camille. Didn't need to. Didn't care. Honestly? I don't care anymore. It's been 2 weeks since this whole thing exploded, and I feel. I don't know. Not exactly happy. But definitely lighter. Like I can finally breathe again. Every now and then, I still see Landon lurking from his burner accounts, liking old photos like that's not the saddest move imaginable. Meanwhile, I'm out here doing normal stuff again. Brunch with Naomi. Bought myself a stupid, dramatic-looking plant I definitely don't know how to take care of. Started a new show, hate watched the whole thing over the weekend like it was my part-time job. I'm not magically healed or anything. Still tired. But not angry anymore. And weirdly? I'm kind of proud of myself. So if you're sitting there wondering if it's worth it, if blowing everything up to take your power back is too much. I don't know. Maybe not always. Maybe sometimes it's messy and loud and you question everything after. But when someone spends months slowly convincing you that you're crazy, that your instincts are wrong, that your voice doesn't matter, sometimes the best thing you can do is prove them wrong. And then leave. I never pictured myself as that girl. The one who takes the whole damn house down. But turns out I was. And honestly? I think I handled it pretty damn well. So thank you, strangers of the internet. Thanks for listening. Thanks for reminding me I wasn't alone. And if you ever find yourself at some overpriced hotel bar and see a sad-looking guy named Landon nursing a drink and staring into the middle distance, do me a favor. Just keep walking. Or don't. Buy him a drink. I don't care. Me? I've got my own life to live now. End of saga. I hope.